Hey everyone, I hope you all are having a wonderful time. Today I'm going to share my experience of using this Dynaphraps Pontus 2 R2R digital to analog converter that you can have around $2,000 or less price point, and which is very well known and one of the very popular higher end price point R2R deck that you can have at this moment. A lot of people ask me how do they compare to Dynaphraps Aries 2, or now they even have newer generation of Aries came out recently. They call it Aries 12 or something. I will have that comparison later in this video. So today what I want to share is how this Dynaphraps Pontus 2 can transform the actual sound signature and sound quality of your system if you are using it in two-channel setup. And then also I try a lot of online streaming, like watching YouTube or Netflix, such as, I don't see any lags or problem with this Pontus 2. So I don't know why some people have that issue, probably due to incompatibility with some component that they use. So that's the only reason I can tell you. Other than that, this Pontus 2 or almost all of the decks are highly capable of translating all the digital signal back to analog for your enjoyment. So I've been using this deck for a while now, since I received from Dynaphraps, and build quality, chassis quality is very much comparable and competitive to any R2R decks that recently released. Doesn't matter who makes them. Some people will say Audio GD, some people will say Guster, this and that. It's all their preference, right? So actual build quality is solid, very solidly built, and very impressive actually compared to over $3,000 musician Aquarius deck. So another thing that I like is that transparent and clean sound signature without much of coloration. So if you have this Pontus 2, if you find it to be somewhere in, like unnatural or too warm or too lean or whatever you may have, that means that is actual sound signature of pairing components. Because I try this Pontus 2 with 3 different systems in my room. So I have my desktop system with my old amplifier and headphones and everything. I tried that and I find it to be very pleasing to listen and very, transparent and neutral sound, as well as engaging tone and all the, sounds that we can enjoy listening to, right? So then when I moved to my main system, I connected with this Nano PMA SX11. I started listening with this JBL L100 Classic 75th, and then I it's go on for like a few weeks, and I switch over to this KLH Model 5 and listening it again. Then I switch over to this 500 watts Class D mono blocks by Ice Power, made by Sabai, with this new release, soon to be reviewed, this latter R2R deck and everything. 3 different systems that I try, right? Even including Class D amplifier. What I notice is how this Pontus 2 is transparent in sound reproduction and faithful in sound reproduction. When I say faithful, what I mean by that is it will deliver you good quality music with absolute transparency without much involving in coloration. So some may find it may be too neutral, some may find it too warm, depending on the pairing components. In my system, I try all 3 different setup and different speakers. I found it to be neutral, very clean and transparent sound with very good refinement. So refinement better than, I would say, transparency, detailed, overall refinement better than musician Aquarius R2R deck that I have, in terms of that transparent sound and overall cleanness and very good instrument separation and micro detail and nuances, right? So that kind of sound quality that this Pontus 2 can bring you to your system. So then when I switch over to this Class D setup with this KLH Model 5, I find it to be very neutral, super clean, right? That is seal type stand mount speaker, so it has really good transparent sound as well, and it will totally reflect to your pairing component in terms of sound reproduction. So those are the things that I tried, and I went through a bunch of different music. I will include the list of the music that I take notes when I'm enjoying this Pontus 2. So a lot of the music I went through, right? And one of the tracks that I really pay attention to is the Unbidden September in Montreal. So that track has an incredible amount of detailed small notes and micro notes with great soundscape with very good quality recording. Her voice is very neutral and very realistic sound. So that is one of the most noticeable. And the stereo image, that is the best that you can have. Okay, as long as your pairing components are up for it. I am all for stereo image. Everything else is second. That is my main priority. I want to have dead center voices and vocals and guitar solos and drum solos, everything coming from right here in the middle. That's how I set it up. And then my setup is the side walls are like over 8 feet away from each speaker. So that's how I like to set it up, because that way I get a lot of cleaner sound without much interference from side walls, right? But although I have some treatment, I haven't done. I mean, it's not done completely yet. When I compare those two decks back to back, what happened is Pontus 2 totally outclassed the Aries 2. What I mean by that is Aries 2 have its own rights. It has a great ability to introduce you wonderful world of R2 decks. That's what they are designed for. Good sounding, analog-like sound quality, and musical notes that you can enjoy listening to. So when I switch over to Pontus 2, back and forth with Aries 2, what I can notice, without even critical listening, I can notice it easily, how much cleaner Pontus 2 will sound, how much micro detail and refinements and everything else is better, as well as more precise three-dimensional stereo image that it can create over Aries 2. So that is my experience comparing those two back to back. When I go back to Aries 2 from Pontus 2, it's like you put a sheet of blanket over your speaker. So that's how it will change. These two speakers can totally show the actual differences in sound quality, differences in my system, pairing with either of these setup. Okay, so what I like about that Aries 2 is that smoother, meaning less definition, slightly less resolution, as well as less control bass compared to Pontus 2. So Pontus 2 bass control is absolutely better in every aspect of it. Okay, it's much better and well defined, so much better in every point of listening area, whether you're listening from an off axis or sweet spot, or you're standing or walking around. That is clearly noticeable in terms of that refinement, absolute resolution, as well as very well controlled, very good musical soundscape with more defined and refinement that you will hear and you will enjoy listening to it. In my opinion, if you're gonna go up the chain, let's say you have an Aries 2, you want to go up, I will skip the newer Aries 2, just jump to Pontus 2 directly, then you'll be very happy. I will say I have tested a lot of R2 decks. Generally speaking, price point of Pontus 2 is the sweet spot for all the R2R decks. You will have all high definition, high resolution, and refinements, and everything, as well as great sound in this price point. So if you go up, they will have a slight improvement, but it's not going to be like night and day different. Okay, that's how it's going to be. It will have much more refinement, slightly better resolution, or maybe a bit better dynamic headroom using better power supply. Those are the things that you will notice, as well as how they tweak the FPGA chip inside. That is the major differences. My advice to Dana Fritz is Pontus 2 is incredible in terms of sound quality, price, and performance. Only thing that I want to advise is maybe include like 2 I2S inputs, or maybe USB-C even. That is the one thing that many R2R decks were lacking. I've been using a lot of decks. I still have a lot of decks. Actual experience of using them. They have their own right, and they have their own sound signature. They have their own color of the sound. So if you will ask me if I can live with it, every day listening to this Pontus 2 in my system, absolutely. I can totally live with it and enjoy my music. So, but I put down some notes here in my phone. So I said a true masterpiece of R2R digital to analog conversion, which you don't need to spend arms and legs. If you are thinking of upgrading from Pontus 2 to something else, you must check overall system synergy, because there is no major weakness in Pontus 2. Overall cleanness, neutral, air, spacious separations, tone, micro detail, decay almost in perfect harmony with great dynamic balance, with accurate sound quality, without getting into bright or laid-back sound reproduction. But by saying that, I would like tiny bit more well-rounded notes in 2000 to 4000 Hz region to make it a little bit more refinement, but still retaining precision sound quality that already possess. It does not sound forward or flat, just about perfectly balanced soundscape that I can listen to it for hours. But please keep in mind, a good DAC will reveal quality of recording, which Pontus 2 will be one of those faithful deck. My favorite of all is Stereo Image, which among the best that I have ever heard. So that is my review and experience, my friend. Thank you very much for watching and happy listening. Oh, by the way, very highly recommended.
Mr. Torigoe Keisuke-san. On the guitar, Orima Yosuke-san. Yeah.